Hey, I'm Andy. A new set just dropped from Magic the Gathering Arena called Ikoria. I have no idea how to pronounce it, but every time a new set drops, I open some booster packs, and this time I'm opening 69. And everyone can open at least 3 with the code PLAYIKORIA, which I'll put down in the description down below. Just paste that in the store, and there's going to be a redeem code area. You'll type that in. I already redeemed mine, so we're just going to open these packs and see what we get. Hopefully it's good. I haven't seen the card list, so I don't know if the stuff I'm gonna get is good or not. So we're just gonna open one by one. Maybe we're gonna open 10 after I go through 9, but we'll see. So let's see. We got. I think this set's heavily based on a deck with 3 types of colors, based on the stuff I've seen so far. I like the art on some of these though. They seem really cool. Like the Thieving Otter. Whenever Thieving Otter deals damage to an opponent, draw a card. Alright, what do we got? We got the Triumph. So, like I said, this is a Forest Island Mountain. It comes into the battlefield tap, cycling 3. And tap, you can either add, obviously, a Forest Island or a mountain. So, yeah, well, decent start. Let's keep going. Alright, I'm gonna just focus on the rares, mythics, but if I see something that catches my eye, because we're probably gonna get a ton of commons, and probably a ton of uncommons. So, let's see. Find us one for one. Choose one or both. Target human creature you control gets +1/+1 and gains indestructible until end of turn. Target non-human creature you control gets 1/+1 and indestructible. That seems pretty good for just one. Alright, we got Kogla, the Titan Ape. 3 green, legendary creature ape. Oh, it's all like most of the monsters, the legendary monsters in this set is based off popular fiction. So, like this one is based off King Kong, I believe. I think that's King Kong. But when Kogla, the Titan Ape, enters the battlefield, it fights up to one target creature you don't control. Whenever it attacks, destroy target artifact or an enchantment defending player controls. That seems interesting. And 1 green, return target human you control to its owner's hand, and then it gains indestructible until end of turn. Alright. On to the next one. Ooh, also hopefully I get more rares and I didn't even see what that was. I clicked on it. Oh well. It went by too fast. Hopefully I get more of these wild cards because I do not have that many left for rares and mythics. Alright, we got Gem Razor. Reach, trample, mutate 1 green. Whenever this creature mutates, destroy a target artifact or enchantment an opponent controls. Alright. Polywog Symbiote. Each creature spell you cast costs 1 less to cast if it has mutate. Whenever you cast a creature spell, if it has mutate, draw a card, then discard a card. That seems neat. Alright. Oh, that art looks cool. Alright, we got Death Oasis. White, black, green. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, put the top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard. Then return a creature card with lesser converted mana cost than the creature card that died from your graveyard to your hand. And then 1 sacrifice. You gain life equal to the greatest converted mana cost among creatures you control. Okay. That seems good in like a graveyard type. I mean, it's obviously black, so black and green. Yeah, I'm not that much of a graveyard type player, but it seems interesting. Yeah, I don't know much about this set, but yeah. Adaptive Shimmerer. It enters the battlefield 3+1/+1 counters on it with flash, but it also costs 5. Alright. Ooh, a mythic wild card. I mean, not exciting, but something that I need. Alright, Lore Dracus. 1 blue, red. Mutate. Whenever this creature mutates, return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. Alright. Oh, this is This spell costs 3 less to cast if you control a creature with menace. Can control a target creature until end of turn untapped. So it's basically a I forget. Act of treason, but cheaper if you have a creature with a menace. Springjaw Trap. Okay. Deals 3 damage to any target. Okay. A Dirge Bat, 2 black black, flash flying mutate, 4 black black. Whenever this creature mutates, destroy target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls, but it's for 6. And so if you cast a spell for its mutate is, if you didn't know, if you cast a spell for its mutate cost, put it under or over the target non-human creature you own. They mutate into the creature on top, plus all abilities from under it. So you can either choose to be on top or you can choose to be on bottom, depending. So you can do different strategies and whatnot. And then there's also stuff like counters. I mean, counters has always been a thing, but this time you can put counters like flying, death touch, I think reach, and like all the normal stuff. But you can turn those into counters now. And then like still the traditional +1/+1 counter. Alright. Oh, that's adorable. Alright, we got Tahira, the Orphan Guard. I don't know what's this one based off of, but it's a cat beast, vigilance, companion. Each creature card in your starting deck is a cat, elemental, nightmare, dinosaur, or a beast card. Each other creature you control that's a cat, elemental, nightmare, dinosaur, or beast gets +1/+1 and has vigilance. That seems pretty cool. So companion, if the starting deck meets the that might be, I don't know how many. I mean, it might be good because I know I have a lot of dinosaurs and beasts. I don't know about cat element, or maybe elementals too, but no one about nightmares. I might have to look into that type of deck, but it seems interesting. The base +1/+1 and has vigilance. Because if the starting deck meets the companion's restriction, you may choose it to be your companion and cast it once from outside of the game. So you don't even need to have it in your hand or draw it. Alright, let's see. So another crystal, a mana crystal, mana rock. Lurus, the Dream Den. 1 Mix, lifelink, companion. Each permanent card in your starting deck has converted mana cost 2. Ooh, that seems okay. During each of your turns, you may cast 1 permanent spell with a converted mana cost 2 or less from your graveyard. That seems pretty good. Although having a deck that's only that only has cards with mana cost 2 or less might be tricky. Because you're going to run out of cards in your hand so fast unless if you have like some sort of draw mechanic. So, that might work. I don't know. That might work. So, we're down to 60. Let's just open by 10 so we can see all the rares and mythics and whatnot. Got 2 wild cards. Now let's start with the top left. Karuga, the Macro Sage. Alright, companion, your starting deck contains only cards with converted mana cost 3 or greater and land cards. Whenever it enters the battlefield, draw a card for each other permanent you control with converted mana cost 3 or greater. That might be, I mean, it is green-blue, so you can ramp up easily with, like, the draw a card. You may put a land in a battlefield, or Wilderness Reclamation, Leyline combination. That's still a thing, I think. So you got Brokos, Apex of Forever. 2 black, green, blue. You may cast it from your graveyard using its mutate ability. Neat. It's a mythic too, so I guess it's good. I mean, I don't know how it synergizes with the other cards and the other cards in previous sets, so it might be good. Slither Wisp. Blue, black, black. Flash. Whenever you cast another spell that has flash, you draw a card and each opponent loses 1 life. That's really good since there's a lot of cards that have flash, especially from there's a flash deck from the previous set. So we get Offspring's Revenge. At the beginning of combat on your turn, exile target red, white, or black creature from your graveyard. Create a token that's a copy of that card except it's 1/1. It gains haste until your next turn. That seems... that might be cool. Because it depends on what you exile, of course. And like the enter the battlefield abilities and whatnot. And maybe abilities it has... activated abilities, so might be cool. Extinction Event, 3 black. Choose odd or even. Exile each creature with converted mana cost of the chosen value. Interesting type of board wipe. So and it's exile too, and it's not destroyed, so that's cool. Genesis Ultimatum, neat. Green, green, blue, 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 red, red. Look at the top 5 cards of your library, put any number of permanent cards from among them onto the battlefield and the rest into your hand. Exile Genesis Ultimatum. That might be good, depending on what you draw. Like, if you just have a deck full of just high cost creatures, then that might be worth it. And another new Mythos of Snapdax. Neat art. 2 white, white. Each player chooses an artifact, a creature, and an enchantment and a planeswalker from among the non-land permanents they control, then sacrifices the rest. If black-red was spent to cast the spell, you choose the permanents for each player and said, oh wow. Let's open 10 more. Alright. The Ozlith. 1. Legendary artifact. Whenever a creature you control leaves the battlefield, if it had counters on it of any type, so I mentioned before you can have like flying counters, vigilance counters. So put those counters on the Ozlith. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if the Ozlith has counters on it, you may move all counters from the Ozlith onto target creature. Neat. Yeah, we got a Narset. 1 blue, red, white. +1, you gain 2 life. Add the mana color. Spend this mana only to cast a non-creature spell. Draw a card for -2. Then you may discard a card. When you discard a non-land card this way, Narset of the Ancient Way deals damage equal to that card's convert mana cost to target creature or planeswalker. And then -6, you get an emblem. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this emblem deals 2 damage to any target. Wow. Now we got a Vivienne. I think I got this for getting the pre-order. So you may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may cast creature spells from the top of your library. +1, create a 3/3 green beast creature token. Put your choice of a vigilance counter, a reach counter, or a trample counter on it. When you cast your next creature spell this turn, search your library for a creature card with lesser converted mana cost, put it onto the bed. Now, the -2 seems pretty good, honestly. Yeah, Mythos of Nethroi. Destroy target non-land permanent if it's a creature, or if green-white was spent to cast a spell. Alright. Everquill Phoenix. Mutate 3 red. Whenever this creature mutates, create a red artifact token named Feather with 1, sacrifice Feather. Return target Phoenix card from your graveyard to the... So is a Phoenix deck viable? I don't know if there are that many Phoenix cards you can have in Arena. So... we got Lutri, the Spell Chaser. 1, mix. Companion. Each non-land card in your starting deck has a different name, so basically you're playing Commander. Whenever it enters the battlefield, if you cast it, copy target instant or sorcery spell you control. You may choose new targets for that copy. This is not legal in the following format: Singleton or Brawl, of course. So I wonder why. We got Emergent Ultimatum, so it's basically the same one as before, but with the different colors, black, green, and blue. Search your library for up to 3 monocolor cards with different names and exile them. An opponent chooses one of those cards. Shuffle that card into your library. You may cast the other cards without paying their mana cost. Exile this. So it's a little bit different, but it's still pretty good. Umori the Collector. The art seems interesting. So companion, each non-land card in your starting deck shares a card type. Okay. As it enters the battlefield, choose a card type. So it's basically if you have all this same thing that has the same card type, that becomes 1 less to cast. So basically everything in your deck becomes 1 less to cast if you if this is in the battlefield. And then Voracious Great Shark. Flash, when Voracious Great Shark enters the battlefield, counter target artifact or creature spell. Alright, and you get a 5/4 too. Then counters are usually 1 blue, so this you can get a 5/4 for 2 more. That seems pretty nice. On to the next set, 10. Crystalline Giant. Alright, at the beginning of combat on your turn, choose a kind of counter at random that Crystalline Giant doesn't have on it from among Flying, First Strike, Death Touch, Hexproof, Light. That's a lot of counters. Put a counter of that kind on Crystalline Giant. So this seems pretty good. It seems pretty good. We got a Cub Warden, Lifelink, mutate 2 white. Whenever this creature mutates, create 2 1/1 white creature tokens with Lifelink. We got Vadric, Apex of Thunder. Flying, First Strike, mutate for that. Whenever this creature mutates, you may cast target non-creature card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. Alright, another Umori. We got Obosh the Prey Piercer. That's a lot of legs. Companion, your starting deck contains only cards with odd converted mana costs and land cards. So that synergizes with that one board wipe where you can choose odd or even, so you just choose even. So if a source you control with an odd converted mana cost would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals double that damage to that permanent or player instead. I can see that working with certain decks. I got Bonder's Enclave. Draw a card, activate this ability only if you control a creature with power 4 or greater. Alright, another Triome. And another Revenge. Alright, let's open 10 more. So, got a few news. Cool. So we got another Triome, a different kind of Triome. A Shark Typhoon, obviously based off Sharknado. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create an XX blue shark creature token with flying, where X is that spell's converted mana cost. So basically, if you just play a counter spell for 3, you get a 3/3 blue shark token with flying. So whenever you cycle, create a XX blue shark creature token with X's, you would also include in the cycle cost. Alright, Yorion Sky Nomad, 3 mix flying companion. Your starting deck contains at least 20 cards more than a minimum deck size. So you start with 80, I believe. That seems up my alley. And whenever it enters the battlefield, exile any number of other non-land permanents you own and control. Return those cards to the battlefield at the end of at the beginning of the next end step. Alright, that seems you can do some shenanigans with that. And then we got another Labyrinth Raptor. Or not another one, we got a Labyrinth Raptor. Black-red. Menace. Whenever a creature you control with Menace becomes blocked, defending player sacrifices a creature blocking it. That seems pretty good. Creature you control with Menace get +1/+0 until end of turn. That seems pretty good. Alright, let's see how my wildcards are looking up. Oh, we got a few now. Alright, General Kudro of Dranith. 1 white-black mythic. Other humans you control get +1/+1. Whenever General Kudro of Dranith or another human enters the battlefield under your control, exile target card from an opponent's graveyard. 2. Sacrifice 2 humans. Destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. If you have human tokens, that'll be pretty good. I don't know what it's referencing though. It's probably something obvious, but nothing comes to mind. Here we got a Hunted Nightmare. 1 black menace. So there's apparently, I think a Menace deck can be viable, especially with the last red-black card we drew. So whenever Hunted Nightmare enters the battlefield, target opponent puts a Death Touch counter on a creature they control. Okay. Oh, I mean, because it costs 3 and it's a 4/5 Menace. You gotta give the opponent something good, I guess. We got Lava Brink Venturer. That's that reminds me of, what is it? Like the platformers, but I can't remember. The name's on the tip of my tongue. So it's a 2-white human soldier. As Labyrinth Raptor enters the battlefield, choose odd or even. Labyrinth Raptor has protection from each converted mana cost of the chosen value. It's a platforming game, but it's not Shovel Knight, but it's one of those games, I think. Anyways, on to the last 10. A lot of wild cards, and we get 3 new cards. Titan's Nest, 1 black, green, blue. At the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top card of your library. You may put that card in your graveyard. Exile a card from graveyard, add colorless. Spend this mana only to cast a colored spell without X in its mana cost. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, you can filter out lands you don't need, and I guess cards you don't need, but I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, black, green might be of use, but yeah, I don't know. I don't usually play that kind of deck, so I'm not sure. Got Janeth Magistrate, 1 white. Your opponents can't cast spells from anywhere other than their hands, so you can't play companions. I might have to put that in my white deck. All right, and we got Colossification. That is an adorable cat, although very scary. 5 green, green, enchant creature. When Colossification enters the battlefield, tap enchanted creature. Enchanted creature gets +20/+20. Okay, isn't there a card that lets you untap target permanent? I forget what color it was, but let me check that. Untap target permanent. There has to be. I remember seeing one in standard not too long ago. Unless it was such an artifact. But yeah, I remember seeing like untap target permanent. Oh, it's Ikoria? Maybe it's Ikoria. Maybe let me bring it. But combine that with Colossification, that seems really interesting. I get to look at all my decks there. Let's see, untap. I have a lot of things. I mean, we obviously didn't see the commons and uncommons, but it is what it is. Yeah, it is Cure, untap target permanent. So if you get with this, and then Colossification, and then combine it with haste, so basically like a red-green deck. So that might be great. But then Colossification also requires you to have. It also requires you to have 7 mana, which I guess, depending on what kind of deck you have, and if Nissa's on the field, it isn't that much. So yeah, that might be interesting. I might have to play around with that, but I really want to put this in a deck. It might not be great, and you need like a lot of pieces, but I kind of want to put that in something. Maybe Colossus Hammer too, but that seems. I mean, Colossification is cheaper, but then it also gets tapped. I don't know, but those were the cards I pulled from 69 packs of Ikoria. I'll probably do another opening. I mean, I'll definitely do another opening when the new set comes out. The next set comes out whenever that. Probably in like 4 months or so. So yeah, that was. I hope you enjoyed it. I don't know, like I said, I don't know if the cards are good or not, but I'll probably use most of these wild cards I do to craft some that might be good. But we didn't get that many mythics. We got a few, but not a lot. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed it. So until next time, this has been an opening of Ikoria from Magic the Gathering Arena. Or Magic the Gathering. So, yeah, thank you for watching and have a nice day.